guys, Stupid Sketcher Guy here with another video. Now this video is going to be my 6th prehistoric figure review. And in the vein of my last review, it'll be another Jurassic Park vintage T-Rex. But we're gonna go even further back. Exactly 10 years to another Hasbro figure. The Jurassic Park Dinos 1999 Young Rex. Yeah, this should be interesting. So, like my last review, I will be reviewing this figure in 4 different categories. The paint job, the posability, the articulation, and the detail. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first up, you have the paint job. And most of the paint job is a orange overlay covered in cream and black spots. And I gotta admit, at least color-wise, this is probably my favorite paint job of any Young Rex. It just pops out a bit more, and as a lover of bright colors, you know that's what I like. Now, the whole colors thing is obviously a very questionable debate, because some people like the more reserved colors of the 1993 version, and some like the black and white, or even the mono-colored black of the other versions. But me, I like the slightly brighter carrot orange, and I do like the striping. It's just a nice, subtle improvement over the original 1993 Young Rex. A very bold decision, but you'll see that not everything is an improvement. So for now, I will give this paint job a 8 out of 10. I know that sounds strong now, but just wait until the other ones. Next up is the pose. Now the pose is definitely far from a good thing, because, well, the legs are locked into place, and mine is slightly warped. Maybe it's a lot warped, I don't know. And because of that, whenever I try putting it up, yeah, it can't stand without the use of its tail. So every time I am like handling this thing or just letting it sit, it's always just sitting on its tail. You know, it doesn't look good, you know? It's just every single time. The only position I can put it in is a sitting position. And that just isn't fun, you know? Like, most Jurassic Park figures have the luxury of being able to be very articulated. So, the ability to pose around the figure and give it multiple different poses is something that I always like. And when you don't have that, it's just really disappointing. So yeah, for being only able to sit on its tail, I will give the pose a 5 out of 10. Next, we have articulation and action features. Now, every part of this figure is a very hard rubber. Like, it's not even squishy. Like, that's about as squishy as I can go with it. And that is actually a really big problem, as I will go into detail later. But in the meantime, the only thing that actually can move is its arms, which, unsurprisingly, they're 360. But almost every figure you know has a 360 arm movement if it's from Jurassic Park. So for obvious reasons, this is quite a boring articulation. As well as that, one of the most defining features of these Young Rexes is the fact that they can roar if you press hard enough on their throats. And that hurt my thumbs. Yeah, you can't do that with this figure. For some reason, Hasbro thought it was a great idea to stiffen up the rubber in the neck, making it so the only way you can actually open its mouth is this way. And that's obviously not great. It's just such a stiff figure compared to the other Young Rexes, and that is a very huge step back. Like, come on. You could have just copy and pasted the sculpt and then repainted it, and that would have been so much better. Not just harden up all the rubber. That's just an awful idea for a figure which whole feature is squeezing rubber. As well as that, the battle damage feature is similarly stiff, and it's super annoying to put back in. Like, it takes me a good 5 to 10 minutes after I pull it out to put it back in. So you know what? I'm not gonna do that. I'm keeping that thing in. I'm not even gonna try. So for that, I will give the articulation and the action features a 4 out of 10. Very stiff. Next up, we have the detail. Now, the detail, for obvious reasons, is a very subtle thing in a dinosaur. So you kind of have to really get up and close to really see those details. And for the most part, there are lots of little subtle things in this detail. Nice little wrinkles, small little scales right above the jaw, well-sculpted teeth, and some nice little bumps on the top of the head. But overall, compared to things like Safari Limited and, traditional figures and all that, it's not exactly the most detailed. Most of the detail is just small little scratches, little markings, and little slight bumps. But it's not bad. You can even see a small subtle vein running down the neck, which is honestly pretty cool. Although, most of the neck besides that is just little lines being scraped down, Just a bunch of scraped down lines. The same thing will go for the throat. Then there's down here, which has about the same amount of detail. Nice little scratches and bumps everywhere. The battle damage is very obviously very lumpy and is rather out of place, but you can't really ask for everything in a battle damage piece. And throughout most of this figure, it's wrinkles and a couple of random little scaly spots, including here where the tail is almost ribbed and osteodermed like a crocodile. It's not bad, but obviously it's missing a lot of key features. It's definitely far from the most detailed thing in the world, but it's also not bad. Overall, I would give the detail a 5.5 out of 10. It's not particularly great. It's also not particularly bad. It's down the middle. So overall, I would say that the paint job is very good, a step in the right direction. However, the pose, the sculpt, the articulation, the rubber is all a huge downgrade. Look, it's just a bunch of stiff rubber that you can't really have any fun with. You can't really use the battle damage feature without being annoyed as hell trying to put it back in. And you can't even use the throat open mouth feature that the other Young Rexes have. It's just missing so much with only a fresh coat of paint to say. So despite having the best paint job, it's far from the best Jurassic Park Young Rex, and I do hope that someday I might try and get another Young Rex just to know how much better the other Young Rexes are. But for now, this Jurassic Park Young Rex gets a 5 3/4 out of 10. Yeah, I think that's the worst I've reviewed. But it'll definitely get way worse. Even though this is right now the worst figure I've reviewed, this is definitely far from a bad figure. It's far from bad, It's a nice, rare figure. If you can find it for like $30 with the battle damage like I did, go for it. Anything above that, not really worth it. It's just an alright figure to add, mainly just for rarity and bragging rights, and not because it's a amazing figure. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and comment down if I should review other Jurassic Park figures or other brands, and see you guys next time. Bye.